Canelo Alvarez versus Terrance Crawford is back on. This fight is scheduled to be for Mexican Independence Day in Las Vegas, and this fight's gonna be a lot closer than you think. A lot of people are quick already to count out Terrance Crawford in this fight, saying that he's not big enough. Canelo is gonna be the way bigger man, he's gonna put him out. And a lot of people are underestimating Terrance Crawford already coming into this fight, thinking he won't have enough for Canelo, and even if he's faster, better footwork, it won't be enough to take the win here. But recently, we've seen Canelo Alvarez slow down a little bit in recent fights. He hasn't been fighting the top of the competition either, where Terrance Crawford still has been. And who knows, maybe Canelo has slowed down enough for that size advantage to not be enough of a difference, and Terrance Crawford might be able to take this win.
That's an interesting thing, because when you look at this fight on paper, Canelo Alvarez is actually the younger guy, and Crawford the undefeated, former two-division, undisputed world champion at 140 and 147. This is a big leap, moving up two divisions after already moving up in weight to 154 when he debuted against Israel Madrimov at that weight. Now moving up to fight Canelo, a pound-for-pound great. It's definitely a tough challenge, and he's chasing greatness, but like you've been saying, Canelo has been going the distance a lot lately. If you look at his last couple fights, I'm pretty sure his last 7 fights have all went the distance against some guys, like you said, that are not the elite of the elite. Obviously, everyone he's fighting is not bad by any means, but just not the David Benavidez's of the world, the Dmitry Bivol's, Artur Beterbiev's, the guys that people know are big challenges for Canelo. Pretty much every Canelo fight these days is just him getting one knockdown and then winning by decision. We saw Jermell Charlo move up in weight when he fought Canelo. He went the distance after getting dropped once in that fight and kind of got dominated, but I don't think it's safe to say that Canelo is just going to stop Crawford. Now Crawford's probably not going to be fighting as cautious and in there to survive as much as Charlo was, so he's going to be game and he's going to be a little bit more on the front foot probably. Crawford is a good switch hitter, and Canelo is a lot more active. So when you look at this fight on paper, you see Canelo's younger, he's more active, but he has a lot of mileage on the clock, and with that activity comes him slowing down and not looking the same in recent years. It seems like he's exiting his prime a little bit.
Yeah, just like you were saying, even though Canelo is younger, he definitely has a ton of mileage. He's been fighting since he's been a teenager, has so many fights on his record, and I think it's time we're finally seeing him to slow down a bit, but that doesn't mean he's done and out yet. He's still putting on solid performances enough, even though he's not getting finishes. And in this matchup against Terrance Crawford, he's still definitely going to be the bigger man. So that's definitely going to count for a lot. Even though Crawford technically might be a little bit better, has a better fight IQ in general, and can be a little tricky with that switch stance, even though Canelo has seen it all. Of course, since he's been fighting forever, he knows all the tricks, he's got all the styles patted down. But this is what makes this fight so interesting. For a while, we thought it wasn't actually going to happen, and there's been so many ups and downs with this fight actually getting confirmed. Originally, when there was a report saying this fight was going to be happening, a bit later there was then different reports saying now this is suspended and the negotiations are suspended, and there was talks of potentially Canelo fighting Jake Paul. And now Turki Al-Sheikh has confirmed that Canelo Alvarez has signed 4 different fights with Saudi Arabia, and he won't be fighting Jake Paul anymore, and this Terrance Crawford fight is finally a go. We will be seeing it for Mexican Independence Day, and it's definitely going to be a massive, massive fight.
Yeah, this is a mega fight. This is one that boxing fans have been wanting. 2 pound-for-pound greats who've been reigning at the top of the sport for so long, meeting in the ring, and this is going to mean a lot to Terrance Crawford. He's coming towards the end of his career. He's getting older now in his later 30s, so this is legacy defining. If he can beat Canelo Alvarez, what does that say about the greatness of Terrance Crawford? And I feel like he has a better chance of doing it than a lot of people think. Just because he's a smaller guy doesn't mean he can't outpoint bigger, stronger guys. Granted, this is Canelo, also another pound-for-pound great, so it's not going to be easy, but people are forgetting Canelo didn't start his career at 168 pounds. He hasn't been at this weight forever. He started at a much lower weight in his career. Now, granted, he turned pro at 15 years old, but just like Crawford, he's moved up in weight a lot. Crawford started a little bit lighter at 135. Now he's going to be moving up to 168, challenging for Canelo's undisputed titles, which he's definitely chasing greatness, and it's a tough task. And I get why people are counting him out and thinking Canelo's just going to walk right through him, but at the same time, this is Terrance Crawford. He's never been beat. He doesn't know what it's like to lose. We've seen a guy like Dmitry Bivol kind of put pressure on Canelo. He has a great disciplined style. I don't think Crawford possesses those same attributes because Bivol was also a bigger guy than Canelo. And Crawford recently moved up to 154, and he had a tough fight against Israel Madrimov, which a lot of people criticize and saying he can't compete at this level, he can't fight at this weight. He went life and death with a guy who had 10 fights, but records in boxing can be pretty deceiving. Madrimov is a really tough opponent, a game opponent who has a great style and will definitely be a threat in the future. I just think this is going to be a very competitive fight either way, honestly. It's hard to say a winner right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a core aspect of this fight is going to be that styles in the end of the day do make the fight. And we've seen Canelo a little bit struggle against these light-footed guys who put a lot of volume. Think the Dimitri Bivols of the world. Not saying, of course, that Terrance Crawford has the same style to Bivol, but if he's able to emulate some of those factors, it could definitely benefit him. And as well, whoever gets this win, it's going to look amazing on their resume. Of course, like you're saying as well, Terrance Crawford, undefeated, confident fighter coming in this. If he gets Canelo Alvarez on his resume, just how amazing is that going to be? Going to have now Canelo, the likes of Errol Spence, and he's definitely going to retire at the end of the day as an all-time great of the sport. And on the other hand, for Canelo, if he's able to beat the undefeated Terrance Crawford, who has beaten every single opponent he's faced, then it's going to age fantastically on his already super stacked resume. And we're going to be going away from this saying Canelo Alvarez is definitely in contention, if not the best of the generation. Either probably between him or Usyk.
But that's a weird position that Canelo's in, because I feel like if he does win this fight, he will kind of get discredited for this win. Oh, you beat a smaller guy. You beat a guy who's coming up 3 weight classes, which I get, but at the same time, it's still Terrance Crawford, a master of the sweet science, one of the best of our generation, a pound-for-pound great, who has the skills, who has the resume to back. But I feel like the reason this is going to be so close is it's going to be a technical chess match. It's not going to be like a Canelo puts pressure, walks forward, and dog walks Crawford easily. I feel like this is going to be both guys at their peak, thinking in there and being technical, being smart, trying to think 3 steps ahead of each other, and that's why Crawford could definitely win this as well, because he's a mastermind of the sweet science. You see him in the ring, how calculated he is, how he's able to put his shots together, his shot selection, his footwork. He puts it all together and is one of the most well-rounded boxers in the game. He could box, he could punch, he could move. Canelo's a little bit more flat-footed, a little bit more plotty, but he gets the job done. He's effective regardless. He makes little movements, but is very effective with it. So this is great matchmaking, and I can't wait to see this fight.
But that's our thoughts on how this fight between Canelo Alvarez versus Terrance Crawford is going to go. Let us know down below who you think is going to win this matchup. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the video on screen for more Punch Talk.